As the country continues to debate whether schools should reopen for in-person classes, Fox News has been arguing for weeks that the risk to children from the coronavirus is minimal and attacking teachers' unions that are concerned about returning safely. President Donald Trump has done the same, recently doubling down on his calls for reopening schools and downplaying the dangers to children, including in an appearance on the network. But evidence continues to confirm that the coronavirus does in fact pose a risk to children, and their families and school staff, as reports come out of outbreaks at summer camps and at schools that have already reopened and now face sometimes disastrous results. Evidence shows COVID-19 poses a risk to children. A report recently found that there has been a 90% increase in COVID-19 cases in children in the last 4 weeks, and 86 children have died of the virus since May. The Los Angeles Times reported that coronavirus cases in children are surging in California, up 150% last month. In Florida, COVID-19 cases in children were up 137%. While studies have shown that symptoms are generally milder in children and babies than in adults, the disease can cause complications in children with underlying health conditions, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has concluded that children are still at risk for severe COVID-19. Research has also concluded that Black and Hispanic children face more severe impacts from coronavirus, likely because of long-standing racial disparities in health care and access. And in June, scientists identified children as a possible vector for mass transmission. There have been multiple superspreader events involving gatherings of children throughout the summer, many tied to summer camps. At least 82 cases were linked to a Missouri sleepaway camp in early July. Not long after, COVID-19 outbreaks shut down camps in South Dakota and Texas. At least 260 campers and staffers, almost half of those in attendance, were infected at a summer camp in Georgia. There have also been reports internationally of outbreaks at daycares and schools. In Australia, a coronavirus outbreak was linked to a child care center. And in Israel, schools reopened after the country nearly contained the virus, and the results have been disastrous, causing Israel's COVID-19 cases to spike and essentially erasing months of progress. In some parts of the United States, schools have already started their year, and there have been reports of children contracting and spreading the virus. A second grader recently tested positive for the virus in Georgia after schools reopened, and other schools have had to close or are considering closing almost immediately after opening due to positive test results. Fox has been pushing schools to reopen over the last several weeks. Fox News has been pushing schools to reopen in person nearly unconditionally and attacking teachers' unions over their safety concerns. Many on the network have omitted crucial information about children and the risks of COVID-19 when making their case to reopen schools, such as referencing other countries where schools have opened without mentioning that they have lower infection rates than the United States. Trump has also cited misinformation on Fox News to argue to reopen schools. On the August 5th edition of Fox and Friends, Trump falsely claimed that children are almost immune from the coronavirus while pushing for schools to reopen. The video of the interview was removed from Facebook and Twitter because it violated the platform's rules against COVID-19 misinformation, but the Fox and Friends co-hosts doubled down the next day and defended Trump's false claims. The remark about children was the second time he pushed the lie on Fox that week. The day before, during an interview with Lou Dobbs on Fox Business, Trump said young people are virtually immune from this disease. They're incredible. Fox's coverage has left the perception that the risk to children is near absent and schools must reopen, despite months of reports revealing the opposite. Fox News host Ainsley Earhart confirmed this alternative reality recently when she declared shock at the news that 97,000 children had tested positive because she's heard kids really don't get it. Here are some examples of Fox News personalities arguing that schools should reopen because children pose minimal risks. On the July 1st edition of Fox and Friends, New York Post columnist Karl Markovich insisted that sending children to school carried minuscule risks, saying that there are other important things in the world other than coronavirus. On July 7th, Fox medical contributor Mark Siegel said the country must reopen schools because the risk to teachers is so much lower than it is to doctors. In an opening monologue on July 7th, Fox News host Tucker Carlson claimed that sending children to school will not spread coronavirus. He also argued that concerns over reopening are a political plot by Democrats to harm Trump before the election, saying that these are people who will destroy anything for more power, and unfortunately this season it means hurting our children. Let's block ads. Why?
Show your love for him. Click the link in description. Thanks for watching.